deep they go.
Oh, I just I thrive in that.
I know, I love that. And there's not a lot of people I can talk to in that world.
Exactly.
So it's cool that when I get a chance to talk to people about this kind of trippy stuff, right? The real stuff. Real stuff.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah.
You know, really, when you find somebody,
Yeah.
I mean, my dear friends, we just don't go there. It's kind of, huh? How?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
You kind of know who you can and who you can't go there with.
Yep.
So and that's okay. I mean, I feel like Michael could go there. He kind of lived in that. He just seemed like a medicine man to me. Like he was just like, sometimes you look at him in his eyes, you could just like, you just get sucked so in. Like he just had this, like, he had just connected with people. It was incredible.
Yes. It was really interesting to know him from age 32 to age almost 80.
Can you talk about that a little bit? No? Okay.
Yeah, just because it was such a personal experience. I don't want to personalize it.
Right.
But, I mean, he was a real jerk.
Ah.
Drug addict.
Yeah.
Constantly went out on me, and I was so trusting. I gave him so much space just to be.
Yeah.
And he used it. But that was we came in to work that out. But I knew, my friend Yemi was going, you shouldn't, why are you friends with him? He shouldn't be around in your life. I'm like, Yemi, there is something that I still want in my life. He's somebody that I still want to know.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to have, we were supposed to have that relationship.
Yes.
He was supposed to learn big things from that. And I as well. But I just said no. He's a part of my life. And so he became, we separated, but then when Frank passed, his son, he said, can I come live with you? And I said, yeah. There's that extra bedroom.
Yeah.
So he would be in there practicing his drums, and I'd be in the next bedroom painting before I got my away studio. And then, so that was after we split up, that everybody's always going, you should be married, you should be with, what do you, I mean, the women, when I'm telling his girlfriends, right, I'm going, I have no interest in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
I had it. You do it.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's your,
Probably makes a lot better friend than he did boyfriend at that point in time, I'm sure.
Oh, he became, for Amanda, it was just...
But he had to grow up first. I mean, he had to,
hugely. Well, like he said in the speech, or one of his speeches, it took me 70 years to learn how to be married.
I believe him.
Yeah, I did too. And he really, they were this quirky match. Yeah, they were both quirky and laughed at the same things and caused each other to laugh just out of just silliness about a word and playing off the word, and then they would both die of laughter. I mean, it was just hilarious. It was so good. And I feel for Amanda because she'll never find anybody like that again.
No.
I mean, that's the match made on earth and in heaven. And that's the dreaded thing. It's like losing your favorite animal, or some dogs are great, but one is so special, and then you just mourn and tug. But that's kind of what makes you feel alive. Or these, when you're tugged, it's like, ooh.
It's the price of love.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Ooh. You were so you were the perfect person then when we were sitting around Michael.
Yeah.
And I was at his feet.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like going, what is this thing that's happening? And you were there, our eyes. And I'm like, and this still can't, just this rise, and my eyes were getting bigger and bigger. And I'm going, the only word I could think of, I think I'm having an epiphany. And then it rose and then it left, but seeing the light over, oh my God. And you were there, you were like my support system. And you're just your family orientation.
Yeah.
The taking him into his family with the photographs and and us all singing together and percussive and oh, what a beautiful passing.
What a beautiful send off. I feel so honored to have experienced that. Yeah. And I feel like the three of us, you, me, and Amanda, were kind of the death doulas in a way, where we were guiding and working with the energies of him separating from his body. And I mean, there was a lot of energetic work that was going on in that room, and supporting people that might not be as comfortable with death.
Their first time.
Yeah.
Ezra, I think after you left, because you didn't stay for dinner, right? No, okay, you did. So Ezra was, you remember Ezra's statement that he wrote at his memorial, his celebration at the No Name? And people were saying things. People were drumming, playing music, and somebody would get up and go, "Oh, Michael was. This is why, blah, blah, blah." Well, Ezra was the last one.
Okay.
Her handsome son.
Yes.
Theatrical son. He wrote the most incredibly beautiful sentiment about Michael's effect in his life.
Yes. I do recall that now.
My God, it was his energy to Michael, who was still hovering, probably.
Oh yeah.
And he was just on his back looking, and he just tears, and just in silent conversation with his soul. And then I made dinner. I forget what I made. Was it the kales? I don't know what it was. And but I made it. It's all a dream. And we all sat there eating, laughing and getting high and looking over at Michael, who was getting very waxy. Have you ever seen a body get to that point? Yeah. So he was just like totally gone, just.
When I kissed him goodbye, he just was not, it just didn't even look like Michael anymore.
Yeah.
It was just his shell.
No,
it was, his spirit was not, he was out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And did I tell you the sighting that I had of him in my kitchen? It was about 2 weeks after he passed. And I was in my kitchen. And I had my back to the window, so I was kind of more facing the little dining space. There's, of course, a wall that makes for a hall. And it goes off to the bedroom where he used to be in my studio. And I hear this clattering of something hitting, all these things hitting each other, but it was a certain sound, and I'm going, what is that? It was so loud. I was startled, and I'm looking in that direction. I'm going,
like he's trying to get your attention.
Sound? What is that sound? And then from behind that wall was this body that went like that, and he was made of eucalyptus bark. And I love eucalyptus bark. So whenever I'm under a eucalyptus tree, I'm always fooling around with it, and I gather it, and the sound of the bark. I love the sound of the bark. And that was what the sound was all this bark hitting each other.
Wow.
And then he comes out made of bark, but so it was just pieces that were in a form, but lots of space in between. There was no head. It's like the bark came up and this thing running, and then gone. And I stood there and I went, wow. And then my whole body started in my feet, and it was real fast. And it just went, shoo, and my whole body became electrified. And it was like, I was like, whoa, Michael, you rascal.
And you felt like that was it right away, like it
Oh,
was
yeah. I'm
undeniable.
going, I know it's you because we've talked about this. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What did you
God.
talk about with him? Like,
Oh, we've talked about all the spiritual stuff.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. All
But
the,
eucalyptus, that's really cool.
that was so out there.
Yeah.
And that I would be so familiar with the sound of eucalyptus. How many people are familiar with the sound of bark hitting it? You know?
I'm more thinking of like the smell of it and the
Yeah.
pine cones and
Oh, the
like,
little
yeah,
buttons.
the
Yeah.
little buttons, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagining, and then the leaves, kind of, but not really the bark of it. I've never.
Well, now you're going to walk
Now I'm
by
gonna
it
think
and
about
you're
it
going to
every
look down
time
and
I
go
see a
clack, clack,
eucalyptus.
clacking, clacking,
clacking.
clacking. Yeah, bang, bang.
It's kind of like the clacking of bamboo. I love that sound.
Love that sound.
Have you ever been to Hawaii and gone through the bamboo forest?
I didn't go through the bamboo forest, but
talk
we
about
drove.
a symphony.
Oh, well, actually, we did stop, and there was that with the winds,
Yes.
they hit each other, and it is that, yeah,
Gorgeous
yes,
sound.
yes.
Okay, so you. Now we're finally getting to the part that I wanted to interview you about. Like after 2 hours of us talking, and I got to keep my meter at some point. But tell me about the series of jazz paintings that you did that you're donating to the auction for the Aragon Foundation, and you did a series of a number of paintings. Some of them may be sold, but you've got others. So
Yeah.
who did
Yeah.
you paint? And
Well, I was Michael's dearest friend, Charles Shearer, as he calls him, Chuck Shearer,
Chuck.
has a major publishing company of transcribed music.
Oh, interesting.
I've got 2 of them. I should give you one. Do you want transcribed? Well, these are actually so. The question is, I was hired by Chuck. He is publishing a book called Beginnings and Endings, and there are all kinds of famous tunes, standards that a lot of people discovering music, discovering jazz, they listen, but they don't quite. It's a structure. Jazz is a structure. So these are transcribed, well-known beginnings to a tune,
Okay.
and then all the in-between solos that make up the tune, the inspiration, and then they all come back together and end the tune.
Okay.
So it's called Beginnings and Endings.
Oh, okay.
And he thought, well, this book is not very interesting looking. Maybe I'll hire Lissa to do some portraits of well-known jazz artists, many of whom are in the book. And so he told me who he wanted, and I said, well, I guess I can do these, but I never did a human portrait
Only the animals.
in gouache on clayboard. I mean, dog portraits, they're covered with fur.
Right.
It's a little bit different when you're going for tone of skin.
Fur on the jazz musicians might have been cool. You make them jazz cats.
Or jazz dogs, and a lot of them were dogs.
Or, you know, yeah.
I
true.
know one of them. Okay,
Oh.
so, but yeah. Woof. So anybody gave me names, and the first one I did was Cannonball Adderley, and I looked for pieces of clayboard that I had, and so I sanded off some of them because you can sand clayboard back to a white surface,
Oh, okay.
and it's a very interesting substrate to work on with gouache. And it's kind of like a chase. You're chasing this paint to do what you want. But, and so Cannonball Adderley is on a 10 by 10, and he is going to be available.
Okay.
And he is the most, the loosest painting of them. And didn't know what I was doing, but I got him. And like in the dog portraits, it's taught me doing the dog portraits, which I don't do a lot of, but I do like doing. And there's a relationship. Eyes,
Yeah.
mouth, lips. It's all the little details that speak to this person.
Okay.
So here I am doing these very famous musicians, and in black and white.
And were you listening to their music while
Well,
painting
that's
them?
the thing. You know,
Uh-huh.
after Cannonball, I went, I need to listen
Yeah.
to these people when I'm Miles Davis. He was the most interesting one to do because he has the most interesting, crazy face.
He does, and he's got dark features, so
He is so black.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Let's just put it mildly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. He was the darkest of them. And, but I've always loved his face.
You really captured
I
him.
love his music. I love him.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, and it was so interesting because I was getting him, I was getting it, and I'm going, you're almost there, but there's just something. What is it? It's his lips. They're crazy because of all the blowing, all the years of blowing, and all the guys that play wind instruments are, you know, their mouths are all kind of odd, their lips, and so I'm looking at his little areas right around here, and once I started putting those weird little highlights in that shouldn't be there on lips, it was magic. It was just magic. I went, now you're talking
That was
to
the
me.
key.
You're talking to me. And it felt, it's just bizarre painting somebody's face. It's just, you're trying to get this likeness. The questions that you ask yourself of, why isn't this working? Well, the eye is too high. You know, all these questions. But at any rate, yeah, and so the guy who did the graphic design for the book, who Chuck loves much and loves his work, and therefore Matt treats him with respect.
Yeah.
And Matt wanted to buy 2 of the pieces, and names blank, blank, blank. But Wes Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know which ones he got?
I don't, but I was just gonna say Wes Montgomery.
Oh, really? Well, say the next one and remind me. But no, he
it
got
Charlie Parker?
Dexter
Did you-
Gordon.
Oh.
Ooh, was he fun to paint? What a handsome man.
Right.
I was going, you sure are beautiful.
Now, which one is that?
Dexter Gordon.
Okay.
Yeah, so he bought those 2.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful, beautiful exchange. And I gave him a really good price on them because money in that kind of context is, and the favors, the generosity they had towards each other, I thought, I need to meet this.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I was
energy
very,
exchange.
very generous with him.
Nice.
And his, therefore, reception, not because of what he paid, but because when he got them, they are so much better in person.
I can't wait to see them.
Oh, they're nice. They're good pieces. And I'm getting this, my brother's finishing out his garage, building out his garage with birch plywood, which is so beautiful. And so I've already gotten some scraps from him and mounted this and that. And I thought, John, you got to cut me some of your scraps because I need to mount these pieces on this birch plywood. You know, just like maybe an inch on either side.
Oh, that would be nice.
And the painting is raised just a little bit above the backing, and then the backing is raised from the wall. So there's this dimensional rather than it being so flat because they're so small. They're just 6 by 6.
Oh, okay.
And so they become 8 by 8, and it just gives them presence. And so yeah, there are going to be 5, 6 of those.
6 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And this and that. I have all kinds of offerings that we need to talk about off the video.
okay. All right. Great. Well, let's do that.
But
So I will whenever they're ready, I can just come by and pick them up, or we can meet here or whatever, like at some point.
Whatever.
But I am going to list them on our auction site
Yes.
beforehand because I have photos of
Yes,
them
you
that
do.
are really nice.
Yes.
But I don't know them by face, so we'll connect on the names of some of the musicians I do, and some of them I don't.
Right.
So we'll just connect on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that you did that.
Yeah. Oh, it's just because I was wondering, what am I going to get? What? And then I did those portraits, and I'm like, whoa.
And should we sell them individually?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh shit! There's the
Oh.
meter maid. I'm